Planting plants. After you have rototilled your chicken manure or grape seed compost into native soil, it is very easy to plant. It's best to prepare holes 1.5 to 2 times bigger than your plant, and then carefully put each plant in the hole. If you plant 4-inch and 1-gallon plants, you will not have to dig much at all. Newly rototilled soil can be turned into holes with your hand or using a shovel to remove 1 large scoop of soil per gallon-size plant. If you notice that there are a lot of roots showing at the edge of the pot and that these have become bound up, use a razor blade, shovel, or your hand to loosen these roots. The goal is to have the roots loose but the soil in the pot still holding together. Don't loosen the soil or roots if the soil is already loose and falling away from the roots. In some cases, you may need to be very careful removing the plant from the pot and put the whole thing straight into the hole without touching the soil or roots, or the soil will fall completely off the roots. It is best to minimize the exposure of the roots to direct air and sunlight. The best time to plant is in low light in the rainy season. This is more important when transplanting large plants than it is planting new plants from pots. However, the time of year has such minimal impact that I would never let this stop you from planting anything anytime you want to get the work done. If you are moving a 10-foot tall tree, just know that it will have a 20% higher survival rate if it's moved in November rain rather than in a July hot spell. And you will also have to work harder to simulate the rainy season with daily drenchings if you move it in July. When storing plants prior to planting, it is best to mass them together and minimize the direct sun exposure on the black pots. They will need to be watered daily if they are in full sun. If you are planting in a dry month, you will need to water all new plantings, including drought-tolerant plants, every day for at least a month as they establish their roots. Because hand watering for a month can take more time than planting, and because a lack of adequate water is the cause of 95% of all appropriately chosen plant casualties, I prefer to set up my irrigation infrastructure before planting so that all I have to do is add a dripper to each new plant the same day I put the plant in the ground. This allows the watering to be automatic from day one, saving hours of time. However, in a dry month, I will still water each plant thoroughly by hand right after planting to help compensate for the high stress of being planted, and because drip irrigation will not saturate the soil the way an overhead spray from a hose will. You can read more about selecting your plants in the design section of the book and in the chapter on saving money.